Welcome to another stocked and loaded episode of the Sports Card Nation podcast, the show that brings you all the important hobby news, discussions, debates, opinions, info, and interviews with key hobby and sports dignitaries. Also, if you're good, you know we are going to give away something. Now, here's the guy that wanted the cards more than the gum. John Newman.
What is up, everybody? Episode 159 of Sports Card Nation. If you're listening to this on show release day Friday, Merry Christmas Eve. Let me wish you a Merry Christmas or whatever holiday that you celebrate this time of year in advance of the 25th. If you're listening to this already after Christmas, after Saturday, I hope your Christmas went well. You get to spend some time with family and or friends, and was everything you hoped it would be and more. Real fun week. I try to keep every week fun content-wise, but this week, kind of lighthearted. This past Monday, had my dad on Hobby Quick Hits talking about Gil Hodges' induction into the Hall of Fame, and always fun to have my dad on, and I know he lights up talking about that stuff. And this week, really fun show, Mr. Thumbs Down himself, Gary Dunaier, and Gary did a thumbs down at a Yankees-Rays game, played at Citi Field due to a hurricane. And became a national sensation and a famous GIF, and gets recognized now wherever he goes. And he's a Mets fan, and I thought it'd be just fun to talk to him. And not a lot of card talk, but just how that day happened, and some of how his life has changed after the fact. And talked a little Mets, talked a little baseball, and obviously talked about that event and how it all came about. Some little insight there too, and definitely fun, and I found it entertaining, and I think you will as well. You're going to hear us talk about who the Mets' new manager might be. Well, now it's come out. You'll hear me mention that Buck Showalter's the leader in the clubhouse, and now it's been officially announced Buck Showalter is the new manager of the Mets. But you'll hear us talking about that he's rumored to be the new manager of the Mets. We recorded this, obviously, before the hiring announcement. So just a little house cleaning there. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
What doesn't one of one card shop do? From box, case, and personal breaks, there's always fire being pulled. They offer bulk grading subs, and their large store located in Strongsville, Ohio, offers an incredible selection of sports cards, non-sports, and authentic autographed memorabilia. Steve and family will treat you right. Check them out on Instagram at One of One Card Shop or on the web at oneofonecardshop.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Gary Dunaier, Thumbs Down Guy. This is the Sports Card Nation podcast. The hobby is for people.
The Sports Card Shop is your small-town local card shop with a global reach. Located in New Buffalo, Michigan, the shop is one of the most accessible in the Midwest. In addition to being an authorized Panini direct dealer, the Sports Card Shop carries all major trading card brands, including Topps, Upper Deck, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and more. With all that new wax, 500,000 singles, and showcases full of graded cards, you're sure to find something great for your collection, whether you're just starting out or a seasoned collector. The Sports Card Shop is your one-stop shop. So call us, come see us, or visit us on the web and social media. Our phone number is 269-469-0140. Website is thesportscardshop@moco.com. The Sports Card Shop is part of the Moco Retail Group, connecting sports, the hobby, and people around the world.
Sports Card Nation, it's now time to chop it up with our featured guest on the One of One Card Shop guest line. Let's go!
Real excited to be joined with the next guest. He's a Mets fan like myself. Pretty famous for something he did, not at a Mets game, but at Citi Field. I'm happy to be joined by Gary Dunaier, or AKA more affectionately known as Thumbs Down Guy. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, glad to be here.
So we'll get into that night. It's obviously a famous night. Even people who aren't sports fans are very familiar what happened there. But I want to, when I get a Mets fan on, I don't always have them on, so I like to take advantage and talk a little shop. Nothing too crazy. But first off, I mean, how long have you been a Mets fan? I guess we'll start off with that one.
I've been a Mets fan so long, I don't even remember when I started.
All right, so
you're though is I became a season ticket holder in 2012. So
okay.
next season is going to be my 11th season.
Awesome. Well, I as you know, I spoke to you a little bit before we hit record. I'm originally from Brooklyn, Park Slope, Canarsie. When I was a kid, initially, and I've said this on the show, you haven't heard it, but I initially was a Yankee fan as a youngster growing up in Brooklyn. And Thurman Munson was my guy. It was a Craig Nettles, Willie Randolph. And so early on, I was a Yankee fan. And, Steinbrenner, when he was trading everybody and cutting people, signing people, it was really hard. You like a player, and then the next thing he's gone. He hires Billy Martin 5 times after firing him 5 or 6 times. And it sort of got to be, a bad movie that I didn't like watching anymore. So about 1981, 1982, I said, I'm done, and I'm 9-10 years old at that time. I said, I'm done with the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan. Steinbrenner his hands are on too many things, and I just can't. I'm changing allegiance. And when I changed allegiance, if you know, 81, 82, the Mets were not a very good ball club. So no one can accuse me of they win the World Series and now he's a Mets fan. I jumped on, when they were losing.
Being a bandwagon.
100, 110 games. And haven't looked back. And obviously things got better from when I initially became a Mets fan. But, then we had to go through, even in more modern days, we had the Wilpon era, and now we got the Steve Cohen era. I can speak only for myself here. I'm liking the Steve Cohen. It's early yet, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. You agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the things that people were upset though at the beginning when people were upset at the beginning of his ownership because he wasn't spending money right away.
Yeah,
and you don't get to be a billionaire with that, by just frivolously spending. You got to take your time. It's easy when you're spending someone else's money.
I like this. As a Mets fan, I like to spend someone else's money. The problem was when the Wilpons were there, they didn't want to spend their own money. That was an issue in itself. Now, I think those days are in the rearview mirror. Like you said, Cohen was a little tight-fisted at first, but I think he just got there. Probably wanted to see the lay of the land, first-time owner of a Major League Baseball team, and probably wanted, kind of to get get in the cockpit and kind of see all the controls. And now this year, last year the big signing was Lindor. This year, happy to say, Max Scherzer is going to be wearing the blue and orange. How's that for a 1-2 punch with DeGrom? So if they can get into the postseason, that's a heck of a front end to start any kind of postseason off with DeGrom and Scherzer, and I think that gives you a real good shot alone. And they signed some other guys on offense, with the big one being Starlin Marte. And a Mets fan, as you can probably attest to, Gary, there's many years where, a AAA signing was like the major offseason headline. and now we're in a new era where we're getting arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball. And that's a good thing. It gives Mets fans like us, I think, hope and optimistic to the future. And as a season ticket holder yourself, maybe see some postseason games at Citi Field.
Definitely. I was at every game of the World Series.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, including Game 5. I mean, on the one hand, it was an interesting experience to see it, to see what it looks like live and in person. It's just a shame that it was the other team.
Yeah, well, maybe hopefully this lockout and labor stoppage is bare minimum, and we get spring training on time and a full season of baseball, and maybe we're hoisting, or the Mets are hoisting a 2022 World Series trophy, and I feel good. I'll say this: I feel good going into this season. I felt good even last year, but I feel even better where they're at now. And we just, we're right now. I think they're keying in on their manager. The whispers or the rumors, if you will, have all points leading to Buck Showalter. He's a guy I'd like to see. I think this is kind of a ball club that needs sort of a veteran guy that's been there, done that, rather than a young new manager. And if Showalter winds up being the guy, I'm all for it. I think most of the players kind of endorsed him, especially former players who've played for him, and I think that's the best endorsement you can get, is when someone who's played for you in the past says this guy is very good and would love to play for him again. I think that's the best.
Scherzer's pretty big on him, right?
Yeah, Scherzer loves him, so I'm sure let's be real, we know that's probably a factor. I think he's the leader in the clubhouse to get the job, and I'd be more than fine with that at this point. I don't, your thoughts are any on Showalter?
Well, I think he'd be a good choice.
Yeah.
I don't really have that much to say about it otherwise.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're going to find out probably shortly. It looks
Definitely.
like they've already done like second interviews for those they've requested second interviews on, and I think heck, by the time this airs on the podcast, we may already have that person be named already. One thing I wanted to talk about before we get into your story too is, last year we saw some of the Mets, a little frustrated, and towards the end of the year, when struggles were going on, and some of the Mets were a little frustrated, and they sort of adopted your thumbs down, but on the field, towards the fans. As a season ticket holder, as a fan, and as someone who, in a sense, has made that gesture even more famous than it already was. Your personal thoughts? Did you sort of not?
First of all, I'm upset that they didn't pay any royalties. Copyright and everything. Thumbs down guy should be getting good money. But in reality, they were doing it because they didn't like how the fans were booing them for the poor performance. And that kind of an attitude implies that we're all on a level playing field, but we're not. They're getting the big bucks to play games, to play in the field. And we're the ones who are giving them the money in terms of ticket prices, concessions, licensed memorabilia, autograph fees at shows, and that kind of stuff. So it's not a level playing field.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I thought, no one likes to get booed or razzed or told you're not good, and I get the frustration, but the actual, to do that gesture to fans who, like you said, like yourself, who are paying a good chunk of change to attend those games, then you factor in concessions. I don't care if they're mad at the fans for maybe some booing or some criticism, but to actually do the gesture when it's those fans, like you said, that are enabling you to make a living playing a sport, and a very good one at that. I think they could. I think they could have done. There was a better way to go about it than to give fans, in a sense, the thumbs down there. And I think baseball. Any athlete, I think, knows. Kind of that comes with the territory. If you don't play well, you're going to hear it, and if you play well, you're going to hear it. People are going to cheer for you, chant your name. You got to take the good with the bad. They don't have a problem. They have they hit a home run or something significant, and the standing ovation. They come out and for a curtain call, Don tip their cap. You gotta kind of take. You can't have you one way and sort of not the other. So when they started doing that, as a Met fan, I wasn't real fond of it, but it is as we say in New York, right? It is what it is. What are you going to do? Hopefully, there'll be a lot less thumbs down at Citi Field in the 2022 season. We'll have a lot of reasons to cheer.
Another thing, though, that I had noticed was that Lindor and Baez were saying that every time they got a hit, they were gonna do the thumbs down. And baseball being the game of superstition that it is, it's possible that the other Mets might have seen that, and they say, hey, if it works for them, maybe it'll work for us.
Yeah.
And we could have taken back the thumb. We could have brought it back to Queens. It started as a Yankee thing, but but there's no reason that it couldn't have wound up being a New York thing. I mean, in that context,
well, it is in New York. It is in New York, even though it was during a Yankee game, which was on Citi Field, by the way, which, as most people should know, is Mets territory. It's in New York City, right? And so it is a New York City thing. We're gonna take claim as a originally being from Brooklyn, we're gonna take ownership of that. You're a Queens guy still there, and so it is a New York thing. It happened at Citi Field, regardless of whether the Mets were playing at the time. It comes from a Mets fan. You own that, and it's all good. Going to step aside for a real quick break, but we'll be back with more with Gary right after that. Greg Morris Cards wants to buy your cards. A long-trusted name in the sports card business, Greg has been buying sports card collections for over a decade now. Any sport, baseball, basketball, football, or hockey, in any era, vintage or modern, will do. Just no junk wax era sets, please. To learn more and to sell Greg Morris your cards, go to www.gregmorriscards.com. Fill out the consignment sale request form, and someone will get back to you on how to get cash for your cards. Also, if you're a dealer looking to sell your collection, Greg Morris wants to talk. Plenty of dealers use Greg Morris' massive eBay platform as a way to consign their cards. Take advantage of Greg's experience in the hobby to get more bang for your buck. Sports Card Nation is back with Gary Dunaier. Saw that in 2013. You were an All-Star Game pre-ceremony stand-in. That's got to be pretty cool for those. I don't know really what that entails. Number one, I guess what did you get to do, and how did that even come about in the first place?
Well, I signed up to be a volunteer for the All-Star Game. I had also volunteered in 2008 when the game was in the Bronx. But back then, my assignment was working at one of the entrances for the Bon Jovi concert in Central Park. I think it was Bon Jovi. So it was me and a couple of other people were like at one of the entrances to Central Park. But really, we didn't have anything to do. We could have, I think we could have just left our post and gone to Javits Center for FanFest, which we could do for free with our credentials, and nobody would have noticed. But 2013, that was a lot better. We were able to request the assignments that we wanted, so I definitely chose the pregame ceremony stand-in because it was being at Citi Field.
Yeah.
And what that entailed was we were to stand in the places where the actual ball players would during the ceremony, and the producers would would use us to figure out where to place cameras and where the players should stand. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You got to meet some of those players then, I'm assuming.
No, we didn't. We didn't get to actually meet the players, but what we, at least I remember for the third day, which was in the morning of the actual All-Star game, we were assigned to be a certain player. I was assigned Miami pitcher Jose Fernandez, the late Jose Fernandez.
Yep.
And I would be standing where he was standing, and part of the ceremony was they would have a veteran from each city who was a fan of the team, and the player would present a flag that had flown over their ballpark to that veteran.
Yeah.
So the actual veterans were there. So I got to meet the guy from Miami, and during the during the rehearsals, we gave them mock flags. Of course, the players gave them the actual flags.
Yeah, yeah. Well, very cool. I hope you got at least to attend the game as in doing that. I'm assuming did they let you have a ticket to the game?
Well, in the context which you're saying, no, we didn't get any free tickets. I was going anyway because I bought a ticket.
Okay, all right.
As a season ticket holder, I was able to do that, but we didn't get free tickets.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to get you a ticket comp in retrospect, apparently. So
maybe next time.
Yeah, still great event, and then anytime the All-Star game is in your home ballpark, I mean that's just pretty cool. And you obviously you got to be on the field as well. So let's talk about I know you've talked about it plenty of times since that day. But I love to sort of pick your brain on that day. For those that just to kind of go back, 2017, the hurricane forced the Rays and Yanks to play at Citi Field. I'm kind of doing the Cliff Notes version here. Todd Frazier hits a home run, and you famously give him the thumbs down. The Yankee guy in Citi Field hits a home run. We're not going to be that excited about it. And you just expressed what you thought. I guess my first question is, has that been anything you had done previous where it just didn't go noticed, or was that the first time you've ever done that to that extent?
I'm nothing I can recall, but I'm sure that I have. Plays happen that a play happens you don't like. You're gonna boo, or maybe you might make a gesture.
Now, with that. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the whole reason it became a big thing was because of where I happened to be sitting, second row behind the Yankees dugout.
How soon? And fast forward ahead, that obviously became a kind of a Yankee pennant race rallying cry. How soon after you did the gesture did you realize? When did you realize like this thing is like really getting some momentum here? When did you realize like this is being picked up by various news media? People are talking about this.
I guess it was either later in the evening or the next day on the day itself, 9/11/17. A couple people asked to get pictures with me, and I remember outside the ballpark, one fan wanted me to make like a video selfie. And they kept trying to get me to say "Go Yankees" or whatever, and I wouldn't do it. And he kept the guy kept doing different variants. How about this or how about that? And finally, I had to say, "How about no video?" So he dejectedly said thank you, and that was it. And then I made my way home.
Yeah, and then you just, like you said, the next day, I mean, were you obviously you were surprised, shocked by it? When you did the gesture, I mean, were you hoping like Todd Frazier kind of saw it as he was coming to touch the plate? Like, what was your thinking there?
Well, when he hit it, all of a sudden, all the Yankee fans in the ballpark, and obviously there were much more of them than there were Rays fans. Everybody started cheering, and I just couldn't handle that. Home of the Mets, and like all the Yankee fans are cheering. I knew that even though I was sitting really close, if I booed, my one boo would not be heard amidst the sea of pinstripe passion. So I just stood up and made with the gesture and the stone face.
Yeah, classic. And were there any Yankee fans around you that said anything like while you were in that?
No.
Did you get any grief?
No, I didn't get any crap or anything from any Yankee fans for it.
Yeah,
they probably didn't care. One guy making a thumbs down, and their guy hit a home run, and I think at the time after the home run they were leading 5-2, I think.
Yeah.
So they're not going to care about me.
Yeah. So a little backstory. Obviously, you're a Mets fan. It was at Citi Field. What was the story about attending the Yankees Rays game, being a Mets fan, even though it was in Citi Field?
Well, originally I wasn't even planning to go.
Yeah.
But all the tickets were $25 each.
Yeah.
Field level only. They weren't selling anything upstairs.
Yeah.
And I decided, I guess this was a couple of days before. This would be on Saturday when the tickets went on sale. I decided, just for the heck of it, let me see what's available. And nowadays you have the option of picking your exact seat location when you order online. But back then you couldn't. They were still doing it best available. The computer would decide that. So I looked and I happened to see section 122, row 2, seat 1. And me being familiar with the Citi Field, I knew exactly where that was. So I snapped it up.
So did that gesture completely spontaneous? Like, you didn't say, "Hey, if the Yankees do something good, I'm pulling this out." It was just a gut instinct reaction type of deal.
The only agenda that I had going into that game was to take some pictures.
Yeah.
At the time, I used to spend a lot of time walking around the ballpark taking pictures. I didn't do that too much on this particular game, because how often am I gonna get a chance to, be so close to the game?
Yeah.
Otherwise it's possible that that when Frazier hit the home run, I might have been walking around.
Yeah.
As it happened, I started walking around after the 5th inning. So I spent a couple innings walking around, getting some shots, and a couple of people had said that they that they noticed me, and I was thinking that maybe I was shown on the City Vision, and I didn't notice it. I had no idea that I became an immediate sensation.
Yeah, crazy.
At the time, I did not have a smartphone, so I did not have a smartphone at that time, so I had no way of looking it up. I didn't have the phone, so I wouldn't have gone, "Oh my God, that's me."
So it was about the next day that you realized, holy smokes, this is this is spreading like wildfire, and it's me.
Yeah.
And
when I realized what had happened, I was in stunned disbelief.
We're going to take another quick break to hear from one of our great sponsors, but we'll be right back after that.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com, or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
We are back with the thumbs down guy. What did people at where you worked think of the whole thing? Did they razz you like, hey, we work with a celebrity now, we didn't realize it? Did you get all that kind of stuff?
A few people did. I guess I was kind of known, around the courthouse.
Yeah.
But funny story is, the Daily News first wrote about it. They had an inset with a picture of me, and it said, "Are you thumbs down guy? We want to talk to you." Now, where I was working at the time, I was working in Manhattan Criminal Court. I was working in the Borough Chief Clerk's office, and that happens to be right next to the press room. In fact, it's just 35 steps away. So I could have very easily, one of there brought the paper and said, "You guys looking for me?" Unfortunately, I didn't get that chance because someone else had already told him.
Yeah. Well, listen, it works. You're not a criminal, but they've caught criminals in the same manner, so they tracked you down. They figure if it works in that case, it should work in this case as well. I mean, since I'm sure you get recognized all the time, even obviously, I don't know how much traveling outside of New York you do or get to do, but when you do, I mean, just in general, I mean, does it honestly, does it sometimes get maybe annoying? Like you're just trying to be sort of
Not really.
a norm.
It hasn't gotten old yet. They still recognize me at the ballpark. I get recognized in the street, and obviously people are still using the GIF.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In fact, that GIF has had over 1/4 billion views.
Wow.
So I know.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's got to be. I don't know what the most used one is, but that's got to be in the mix. I would think that's.
I don't think it has to be up there. If I got a half cent, not even a full cent, a half cent for each view, then I could afford to buy season tickets like right behind the plate in the good seats in front of.
The Mets should be giving you those at this point in time, Gary. Come on now. I'm trying to get you free. I'm trying to get you free upgrade here. But have you ever sent the gift of yourself giving the thumbs down to someone directly from you?
I haven't used the gift, but I have used a still photo.
Yeah.
I guess the counts is the same thing.
Yeah. Has any? I'm assuming the answer is yes, but how often do you get the gift sent to you in in a no response? If you ask somebody and they want to tell you no, or they didn't like it, do you get it back at you?
No, but nobody does the thumbs down gift to me, which is which is fine.
So, I mean, you're taking it all in stride. You have a bobblehead, obviously you have shirts, and rightfully so.
Bobblehead.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm holding it up to the camera here, which I know people listening on the audio can't see, but it looks more like me than I do the bobblehead. And they're still available. National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. People go to the website, buy bobbleheads. I need the money. FGW, Phil Gary's wallet.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, listen, deservedly so. This video will run usually a couple weeks after the audio. I wait a couple weeks, but even in the show notes, I'll put that in there so people know where to track it down.
If this is going to be on video, let me get a better shot.
A little here. Side by side.
If I can hold it good, there you go.
Yeah, and if I'm not
mistaken, you will be able to tell which is me and which is the bobblehead.
And this is the National Bobblehead Hall of Famers, the ones that do these, right?
Yeah, they got in touch with me, and they've been really nice people to deal with.
Yeah, to have that done. What did I mean, how detailed did they need? They wanted like a photo. What did you need to do for them to produce those?
Well, they basically took it from the from the photos that were
Yeah.
circulating. I didn't have to. I don't recall specially posing for a photo
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
I can tell you the one thing when they were designing it, they were thinking of having the thumb bobble as well. So it wouldn't have only been a bobblehead; it would have been a bobble thumb. But
Wow.
they decided against it because I was just I didn't move the thumb when it happened. I was just standing perfectly still.
Yeah. Yep. So no, but well, we got the bobble. Gary, thumbs down. That's good enough, and that's awesome. How often do you ever get asked to sign the bobblehead itself?
Very rarely do I get asked for autographs at all. My autograph, thumbs down guy autograph is very rare. But the reason for
Yeah.
that is because most people approach me want selfies. They don't ask for autographs.
Yeah.
But I have signed one bobblehead. Well, no, actually, I signed. I think it was three for one guy. He was going to send it to a couple of other people. He wasn't trying to stockpile them. And I've also signed two baseballs.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, obviously you've become a Mets pseudo celebrity. Have the Mets themselves like done any events or spoke about doing anything? Working with you on anything at all?
Well, when they had the press conference introducing Todd Frazier, I was invited to attend.
Yeah.
So so I was there, and in fact, you can see in the background. I have the seat placard that they put for my
Wow.
seat. I didn't just have a generic reserve that says Gary Dunaier, thumbs down guy, and he got the flanked by the Mets logo. So that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
That's cool. And Todd Frazier's played for both the Mets and the Yankees.
Hmm.
And I mean, do you have any sort of relationship with him? Do you keep in touch? Do since that day?
No,
No.
I don't have an. No, it's just two ships that pass in the night. I guess. You
Yeah.
know. In fact, the last time that I did see him was last month. I went to the Queen's Baseball Convention in Wantua. He was a panel speaker, and after the panel, he went over to an autograph table. So I'm standing by where he's walking. So I say a quick hi, and he gives me a hi and do a fist bump, and that was it. That was the extent of the 2021 reunion between Todd Frazier and the thumbs down guy.
Yeah.
Very thrilling.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? I know he's generally sort of a quiet, kind of reserved guy. You think not embarrassed, obviously, to hit a home run on the play. It's not like he struck out and he got but I know you said you haven't, other than seeing him here and there and the last time at that in Montauk, you said, why do you think he sort of distanced himself from that? Just doesn't want, just kind of a quiet. I know he's generally a reserved type of guy.
I don't know, really.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'll tell you though. I gotta wonder if I was a little younger, if I was of a different gender, things might be different. I don't know. You never know. I mean, a middle-aged, overweight male is not necessarily the type of person that you would want to be associated with. I don't know. I shouldn't put words in anybody's mouth. I'm not feeding alphabet soup or anything.
Yeah, well, it was a moment in history. I mean, an unintentional one, but it became what it is. I think, to me, if I'm him, I embrace it. I have a little fun with it, just like you're having, and as it should be.
Yeah.
And I don't. Go ahead.
I should take this moment. I don't want to forget to do this.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I've done this before. I'd like to publicly apologize to all the Met fans out there for, even though it was inadvertent, for giving aid and comfort to the enemy.
Yeah. Well, listen, like you said, $25 seats, Citi Field. It's still baseball, right? Baseball fans love baseball. We may have one particular team we're really fond of, but I enjoy going to baseball games, even if it's not involving the Mets too. And I usually get to one or two like that. So you don't have to apologize to me. I get it. Going to take another quick break, but we'll be back with more with Gary Dunaier after that.
Pastime Marketplace has a line of graded card cases that are waterproof, airtight, dust-tight, and hardened to protect and organize your valuable collection. Each of our cases come with pre-cut and pre-formed foam, so you don't have to cut and tear the foam when you get your case. The pre-cut foam inserts are sized to hold PSA, Beckett, SGC, and CGS slabs. Store it all safely and securely with a case from Pastime Marketplace. Check them out at www.pastimemarketplace.com.
We are back with Gary Dunaier, Thumbs Down Guy. What's been the oddest place, would you say, that you've been recognized? Somewhere where you're like, no one's gonna like say anything to me here, and yet it happened.
Well, one recognition that I recall, that stands out in my mind was when I was at work, and like I said, I work in Manhattan Criminal Court. So one day I was putting up some signs in the hall because to tell people that cases were being heard in a different courtroom than what they were being scheduled. So a lawyer comes up to me, he recognizes me, and he says that it's an honor to meet me. So I'm thinking, get that kind of reaction from lawyers. I'm just a regular working guy, 9 to 5, with a flunky civil service gig, and a couple of judges have recognized me. So that's pretty cool. In fact, one judge I remember told me that his daughter was a big fan and asked if I could say hi to her on the phone. So I did.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's all cool stuff. Now you've really become a pop culture icon to the Yankee fans as well. I mean, you're given some credit for that season's success. What's that been like to sort of be embraced by, the other side's fans, if you will?
Well, it's a very interesting thing. I'm not even sure I know how to say it. How to put it in words. I've actually been up to Yankee Stadium a few times since there. Mm-hmm. Prior to Thumbs Down, the last time that I went to Yankee Stadium was in 2012, and one of the reasons that I stopped going was I remember, I'm walking around taking pictures. So there was one shot that I wanted to get, but a security guy or usher or whatever the heck they are, checking your tickets or whatever to make sure you got a ticket for there. So he's kind of in my shot. So I politely asked him if he could step out of the way so that he's not in my shot. And the guy says, "You can't go down there." I was at the top of an aisle, I wanted to get the view from there. And the guy says, "You can't go down there," even though I didn't ask to. I wasn't trying. Yeah. I wasn't trying to go down there. I just wanted to get the freaking picture. Yeah. That kind of stuff. I don't need. Fans don't need it. Fans don't need that.
Yeah.
Now the guy didn't know who I was. Back then, of course, I wasn't a Thumbs Down guy. We're talking, we're talking like 9 years ago that happened. So who knows if he had done that to someone and that was their first game, they might, never want to go again because that kind of crap treatment.
Yeah, some people just try to justify their jobs or positions and overcompensate. That sounds like, that's what happened there. You've become, with the bobblehead and the apparel, the shirts, you've sort of become a collectible in your own right. Do you yourself collect anything? Is there autographs you like to obtain? I know you said you like to take photos. Do you try to get any of those maybe signed after the fact kind of a deal or anything
No, I don't.
along?
I don't do that. A lot of what I've taken are views from all sorts of different angles.
Yeah,
So like I've gotten shots from like showing where like various obstructed views in the upper deck are, because of the platforms.
yeah,
And when they had the Chick-fil-A ads on the foul poles, I got some shots right from right behind there to show how they were blocking the view, and
yeah,
just other you know other other casual views. It was like and I would make a note, what section, row, and seat I got that from, or if I was standing behind a particular section, and I include that in my write up of the photos, and all my photos are on Flickr, Flickr, so you can check them out. Anybody can check them out. Your valued listeners to this podcast can check it out. And if you like ballparks, you'll like what I got. You
yeah.
like what I've taken.
Yeah, well, City Fields. Obviously, I'm biased, but I love City Field. As someone who's been to Shea prior to that,
Mhm.
I even like Shea. I know it's nothing compared, aesthetically to City Field, but I know a lot of people don't miss it. I miss certain things, but I really do love City Field too. And
Shea was a dump, but it was
yeah,
our dump.
it was our dump. I'm glad you said that because that's exactly how I feel. It was, but we kind of grew to love it, and but we got a better ballpark now, like you said, and we love City Field. Too, we got the Mets got to figure something out and have like a Gary Dunaier day at City Field. I think that's justified. Or something. We gotta, I think you epitomized the Mets, with that gesture. You were saying, hey, Todd Frazier, Yankee fans, Yankees, here you go. Nothing screams more, loyalty to the Mets than doing that. I think the Mets, do you feel like they don't? I know you can't speak for them directly, but you feel like they just don't want to get involved, or what do you think
I don't
going
know. I
on?
I don't know. I I keep bugging my season ticket rep each year. When are you gonna have a thumbs down guy bobblehead giveaway? And he's not committal. He's not
Yeah, there
committal.
should be. There should
Somehow I
be.
don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, I'd sign the petition, and I'd give a thumbs up to the thumbs down Mets bobblehead night. We'll put it that way, pun
Well, that'd
intended.
be, that would be cool. I think maybe what you should do is like you should tell all your listeners to write to the Mets and tell them we
Yeah,
want we want a thumbs down guy bobblehead day.
yeah, it'll probably be in my. I usually do sort of a closing, final thoughts when I close the podcast out. I'll definitely throw that in there to let's get this movement going. I think it's a worthy day for a worthy gentleman who was proud to be a Mets fan and had no problem doing that and saying, hey, Todd Frazier and Yankee fans, here you go, take that. And I got a kick out of it. This has been an absolute exciting for me getting to talk to you about that moment and about you and some of the things you've done. Even besides that, that's the thing I always, as great as moments are, people are more than just the one moment. And I'm glad we got to get a little background and talk a little bit about other stuff as well. And hopefully we have a baseball season to root our Mets on. And, I appreciate your time, Gary. I always give my guests sort of the final word here. Any give out any of those websites or where people can go to see your stuff and get any stuff they need to get.
The photos are, like I said, are on Flickr, Flickr.com, and they're under my name, Gary Dunaier.
Okay.
I have a page on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter. I don't have a website yet. I'm still hoping to do one.
If they search thumbs down guy, your stuff, should be able to find you.
if you're talking about the photos on Flickr, they should search for Gary Dunaier, not Thumbs Down Guy.
Okay, but on like Facebook, on your page on Facebook,
Facebook Thumbs Down Guy, and Twitter.
Yeah.
And Twitter, my handle is Gary Dunaier, but it's Gary Dunaier Thumbs Down Guy. So people can see me there. And I just want to say before we close out, because I guess we're getting to that point soon, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've had a ball, and this is not just any ball. This is an actual game used ball from that game where Todd Frazier hit the home run. Not only that, but this was used in the very same at bat where he hit the home run, and not only that, but this was the ball that was used before he hit the home run. This was used for pitches 4 through 6 of the at bat, and then it was fouled, and then the next pitch, number 7, that was the home run.
Yeah. Now, just real quick, how did someone give that to you when the whole significance of it kind of came to light? I'm hoping.
No, it's funny. It's funny how it's funny because one day I just happened to be browsing eBay looking up Todd Frazier. I didn't have anything better to do, and I saw a listing and I saw it just said Todd Frazier, Jacob DeRisi, Citi Field, 9/11/17, and obviously that intrigued me. And I looked, and I saw what it was, and I said, "Holy shit! I got to get this."
Yeah.
Now the interesting thing is the guy had an asking price of I think it was a buy it now price of $60, but he was accepting best offers. So I offered $50, and he took it.
Yeah. Now, did you tell him like afterwards, like who you were and the significance? No. All right. I just wondered. Maybe he knows now. Maybe he knows now. He knows because I talked about it in one of the Facebook game used groups, and he happened to be a member of that group, so he definitely knows now. I do know what happened to the actual ball that Frazier hit when I went to my one Yankee game last year. I've been going to Yankee Stadium like once a year. Yeah, I get mobbed. It's scary. So one guy came up to me and he said, "I caught the ball." He showed me a picture on his phone. At that, it was taken like right after he got the ball. So that was pretty cool. I always wondered what happened to it. Yeah. However, like since it, unlike this ball which has the official Major League hologram, that ball can never be authenticated because it left the chain of custody. Yeah, I hear you. Well, man, awesome stuff. An awesome moment. You're an awesome guy. I'm glad you got this. I got to spend some time with you and get some of these backstories that you just can't always get everywhere else. And we'll be hopefully we have a 2022 season to root our Mets on, and hopefully there's more thumbs up in that Mets season than the thumbs down.
Hopefully, I will not be doing too much of this.
For sure. Well, Gary, thank you so much and for coming on.
Thank you, John.
Hey, everybody. Have you heard about Collectible? It's the one-stop shop where any collector can buy and trade affordable shares in some of the most rare and valuable sports cards and memorabilia in the world, starting from just $5. From 1952 Mickey Mantle PSA 10s and Wilt Chamberlain's iconic rookie uniform to one-of-one Patrick Mahomes RPAs, rare LeBron James logo mans, and everything in between, Collectible is creating never-before-seen access and opportunities for all. Let's grow the hobby we love together. Please note this is not a recommendation or solicitation to buy any security. All investment decisions should be undertaken after doing your own research.
All right, that's going to do it for another episode of Sports Card Nation. Hope you enjoyed kind of a different show today. Kind of fun. Let our hair down a little bit. Gary Dunaier, thanks for coming on the show. A great guy. And, pseudo-celebrity now. And it was funny hearing him talk about really how that all went down and how his life is now after the fact, and taking it all in stride, enjoying it as well, and hey, he's a Mets fan. I like him already. Little programming note: next week, no guests technically, but a bunch of guests. We're doing our 3rd annual Hobby Award shows. We call them the People's Choice Awards. All the votes have been tabulated. These are awards in the hobby for like products and companies and best new products voted by you out there in the hobbyverse on social media. I tabulate all the votes, and then we do a show at the end of the year and announce the winners. The first year I kind of did the whole thing, and then I said, let's have a little more fun and get more people involved like we did last year, and this year will be the same. We'll have some guest presenters, and so we don't have it'll be a different show than we usually do, but we're going to go announce all those winners, and we'll have some folks from the hobby world helping me out there as well. So a fun show as well coming up next week. Thankfully, I'll have the week off with being in the education department, no school, so I'll have the week off to kind of put that show together. So that'll be next Friday, New Year's Eve, actually, December 31st. So there you go. That being said, take care, be well. We'll see you soon.